that haircut doesn't suit you. Hair shaming me out of nowhere. Part of me was like, you think I'm ugly, like, or whatever. You think my hair looks stupid? But then I started thinking about it. I was like, so is he actively thinking of a haircut that would suit me? Because now I want to know, what was he thinking? What kind of haircut? Did he think I should have a mohawk? He obviously had an idea. Like, I see your face, I see your head shape, and that haircut is not what I would have chosen for you. I apologize to him for my ignorance and my appearance. You should use AI to generate some hair stuff. And I'm gonna just Photoshop them all over my head. I'm gonna send it to him. I'm gonna be like, all right, choose. They did a study where they wanted to test, like, what's the healthiest alcohol? So the test had gin, vodka, whiskey, rum. They ran it through a few types of tests. Caloric count, and they did, sugar content, the whole nutritional portion. But then they also did this test where they took big ice cubes that were covered in bacteria, and they put it in a little glass, and then they poured the alcohol over the ice cube, and they left it. And then when they came back the next day, they tested the amount of bacteria that was left in the cup. What ended up happening is all the liquors had basically the same amount of bacteria left, except for whiskey. The whiskey actually killed all the bacteria. They noted about 1,000 other things why whiskey's really good for you. So it's really good for me. This is why I'll live forever, and you'll all die because you're drinking vodka. This is Orbem, Orbem Explorer. This is the video game. So this is based off of my book series. You can check out the series, Orbem. It's book 1, Miropelia is book 2, and I'm working on book 3 right now. It's a sci-fi fantasy crossover novel. A lot of hard science, a lot of explanation, scientific stuff, a lot of programmy stuff. But then it's in a fantasy universe, so you get elves, you get magic, you get every animal humanoid that you could want. And I'm making the video game based off of the story. So I have a basis for the entire video game. I have my universe to use, which is cool. All right, but what are we doing? Let's start game deving, huh? But a skill to be able to learn a language is the best skill in the world. Being able to just pick up languages, APIs, programs, UIs, like quickly, you're gonna be fine. That's really cool. You're just learning everything you need to it's great to do until you need to make money. Then stop branching out. Stop learning everything. When you need to make money, you need to start only focusing on what makes you money, because that's what you need to like really hone in on skill wise. And then your little side projects, you can learn whatever you want for fun, but if you're gonna put time and focus into, hey, don't worry, you're not the only nerd here. Whoa. Don't be throwing the N-word around like that. Definitely not a nerd. Are you kidding me? I'm barely a dork. Yeah, I like the new iteration on the word nerd. Nerd it's such a compliment these days. It's crazy. 80s movies, maybe? That was the most, Revenge of the Nerd style. That has to be the most defamation version of nerd. And even then, man, that dude's cool. He's usually like hacking into stuff or something like that. Are you telling me that being a big jerk and playing football isn't the coolest thing in the world? Weird. Though now nerds suck, you know what I mean? Because like everybody's like, oh, I'm a nerd. And they're like Instagram model and they watch anime, so now they're a nerd. I guess there's a spectrum of nerds, but to me, a nerd has to have a juxtapose, right? You have to have a non-nerd calling you a nerd to be a nerd. You can't just have a bunch of nerds calling themselves nerds. Then it's like everybody's just normal then. So everyone's a nerd, that means no one's a nerd. Come on down to WordPress town and hang out with good old Orbem Order and his scotch. You know what we do here. We party. Macs are good. They're just solid. They're kind of just like dependable more than anything. I mean, if you want control over your system at all, don't get a Mac. If you want to can overclock and go beyond the capabilities of a normal computer, don't get a Mac. It's it is what it is. It's as is, you know what I mean? It's just, all the companies I've worked for, they just provide a MacBook Pro when you start working for them, so you kind of get used to it. When I was doing my freelance days and when I had to provide my own machines, I always had a PC laptop, or I never wanted to shell out for the money. Now it's very important. It allows me to trimulcast, 3 different places at the same time. Linux, I've never used Linux, honestly. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people like it. Especially with, it's come a long way. I've never learned or done anything that I wasn't getting paid for. There's only so much time in the world, so much time in your life. I'll be honest, I was working for my first real job where I was post-production coordinator. I was doing like high volume photo retouching, and I was driving an hour there and back. I was stuck in traffic all the time, and I got a motorcycle, and even that wasn't that great. I'd get there quicker and stuff, but the work was just so stale, and I wanted to be a web developer. And I got in a motorcycle accident, crushed my foot, ended up having to go to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for a week. Other than when they were trying to reset the bones and stuff, it was probably the best experience I had in a while. Just laying in bed for a week, people bringing me food, just knowing that I had the ultimate excuse to not work and like reset. I felt like this is great. Like, I need this break. And I knew I wasn't going to get it unless it was forced on me, because I never took time off or vacations. I'm still that way. It's really hard for me to take time off. It's harder on me. If you're really worried about, your interactions online, get a VPN and then say you're coming from the UK, because every website, I'm a website programmer, I know this. Every website has super strict GDPR rules now. And we try to have the least amount of restrictions on the cookies that we can run, the scripts we can run. So any edge, any inch that we can get to like add another script on the page or add another cookie, we'll do it, because it's better for marketing purposes. It's better for dynamic content, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not really like nefarious, but if you want to be safe, GDPR makes it almost impossible for websites to track anything without explicit consent. All right, let's get the ball rolling. See if we remember how to do this. What up, Dak Dude? I see you have redeemed the first. I'm very proud of you. I see, Dak Dude. He's the one and only. Let's see what's going on here. All right. We are in. Let's go ahead and turn off the boys. Whoop. All right. How you doing, man? How has it been since my short break? Hope you had a great weekend. Feels good to be back. Missed all you dudes. What is going on? My OBS completely exploded just before stream. I lost everything. I lost all my vertical settings. I lost my YouTube settings. I've given up on the whole setting up the YouTube ahead of time. Restream had to be reset. I don't even have chat set up. Sucks. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kept talking because I knew you don't see the ads. But I do see when the ads show up. For all the normies. Glad that ad blocker's working out for you though, man. That's great. So the time change has happened, right? We had daylight saving time. Ugh. It's good in the morning, rough at night. Still getting used to it. But the break was very productive. I was able to get only 5 more chapters to go. Less than 5 chapters. I just have another like 10 minutes on this one, and then I have 4 chapters left. And a couple of these are pretty short. These 3 are actually pretty short. I think The Apprentice is going to be a really long one, but should be able to knock that out. It'll be very nice to get this done and back into the narrator's hands so he can finish it up. And we can get Seashell reading it. I know he's been super excited. And I'm excited to work on this again. Thanks, man. Glad to be back. Wow. Yeah. I know I haven't taken a break like that in a long time. It was boring last week. Yeah, sorry about that. No, I got reached out to by ACX, the company, you know, Audible, and they were like, "Hey, dude, you've been taking way too long on reviewing the audiobook. Like, you have to get the ball rolling." Who's back? Back again. I am back. Tell a friend. Perfect. Orbem's back. Orbem's back. Orbem's back. Orbem's back. Yeah, we gotta make a new version of that. So I believe I am just about out of time for my rush cover, so I'll have to take care of that tomorrow. And tomorrow's voting day. Not for anybody who's under 18, but hey, man, we be voting tomorrow. It'll be great. Oh, I remember where I was at. I might want to just restart this whole game real quick. Play through it, see where we're at, see if we have any bugs to fix. Uh-oh. Don't have to tell me twice. You know what that means. It's scotch time. Oh, woohoo. I'm thinking that's No, I would never promote underage drinking. If you are to drink, you must do it in a professional, clean, and of-age way, depending on what country you're from. Get back into it. Please, drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Also, don't drive and drink. Very dangerous. Even if you're drinking water, just don't do it while you're driving. It's dangerous. Let's see if we can get a stream avatar running. Whoop. Reload. Don't drink and drive. You'll end up like Sting. Exactly. Oh, there we go. He is moving. There we go. Love it. Okay, why is this actually failing? What's going on? What you doing? Provide. Uh-oh. Incorrect password. Oh, am I not logged in? Let's restart. I am not. Larry do that. I like all the colors in the console these days. Color-coded icons. Pretty cool. Ooh, I like the picture too. Avatar. Don't drink and drive. But drink and stream all you want. Alright, where were we? Scotch tasting. Clear the sinuses out first. What do we got? I'm smelling. You know, it's getting harder these days to smell the palate. I'm getting a little oak. Definitely heavy on the peat. Maybe cherry. No doubt. A little bit of cherry. I don't know. I almost got like a watermelon for a second. That was weird. Alright. Well, what does it taste like? Leather. Peat. Yeah, with a little ocean breeze. Fantastic. Love it. Good old Ardbeg 10-year. Lovely little squash. Alright. Let's restart this bad boy. Boo! Bop, bop, bop. I don't know, this cover grew on me. I used to think it was the worst one, but now I'm thinking it's one of the best. I think we did it, Dak Dude. We broke the ceiling of what is possible with metal covers. Bo Burnham? Oh, yeah. Dude, I was just listening to his stand-up when I was going to the fish market a couple days ago. Some of his songs are absolutely nuts. But, it was the left brain, right brain. That was very intense. It was a journey. Yeah, I don't even know what song would be good to do a metal cover on. Bo Burnham. I don't know, he's probably got so many. He's been around for like 50 years. Seems like. Which one were you looking at? Wait, weren't you the one that was going to do the Evanescence song? Or was that somebody else? I feel like I could totally speedrun this game. I've gotten pretty good at it. I bet you could speedrun it too. You've watched it played so many times. Boop, 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 boop. Doo-doo, boop. Look at me now, look at me now, look at me now. All the good singers in the world die. Orbem, Eminem, Taylor Swift. Wait, I'm still alive. That's funny. I like that. I just learned that I can do something really probably simply to make this way more performant. You see how all of these images are loading every time I move? I could probably just like leave all 4 images out there and just show and hide them. So it's not loading a new image every time I move. We'll worry about that later. I definitely need ways to like optimize the game, especially when like you're moving a lot. But like this, like that's loading all these KBs over and over and over, all these milliseconds, you know, and it adds up. Yeah, right. Let's do this real quick. All right. Worked like a charm. Yeah, let's see. Do you have the start time on you? You do not. So let's go. Pop. I also need to finish the timer functionality that shows an actual timer. We'll get to that. See, I want to just get to the very end where you're going right before Orbem, and then I want to like fix all the shit, do all the shit, finalize it, get the demo ready. You know what I mean? And then we'll let everybody play it. Woo! We did it, we did it. Let's pull this bitch. Get all their assets all nice and clean. Alright. Let's get to the boss, let's get to the boss. This ain't even shit. What the hell? That was weird. But I'll take it. Yeah, I really have to change the spacing for the fist. It is not in a good position. It's using the sword's positioning. Okay, I will. What do you got? And video. Pop rocks. Speaking of candy, pooh, there's a lot of candy in my house right now. What a nightmare. Nailed it. Pop rocks, just like fireworks. Speaking of pop rocks, have you seen Nile Blue? The chemist guy on YouTube? He just made his own pop rocks, like real ones. And it was pretty damn cool. Candy hearts? Is that what they're called? Sweethearts? Are they sweet tarts? Is that what the hearts are called? Yeah, candy hearts. I nailed it. Get your katana. Don't mind if I do. Practice kendo. Don't mind if I do. And it's a regular slash. And let's do a heavy slash. I definitely need to fix the whole weapon disappearing when you swipe. Or at least it reverting when you swipe. Alright, see if the last transition video works. So far so good. Let's see if it takes you to the boss battle. And then we're good. Oh, here we go. Laughing information explosion. Sour Skittles. Laffy Taffy? No. Laffy. Laffy Taffy? Did I get Laffy Taffy? Or what's it? Lol. I bang. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, lol. Lollipop. Good job. Lollipop. Nailed it. Very good. Alright. Wait, what? How'd that happen? How did he lose life? Oh shit. I'm dying. Switch! How did he lose life? I didn't even touch him. Oh, he didn't. Then how come he switched to pulse wave? That's weird. That was weird. He switched to pulse wave on his own. I wonder if it would do that again. Oh, look, he doesn't have anything right now. It should have. Oh, no, I have to walk through it. So if I walk through. Yeah, it's Barrage. But for some reason, it switched to Pulse on its own. I wasn't even doing anything. Like, huh. Well, we can't have that. Temporary? Nah. Nah, I haven't heard that one. Is it good? I like Eminem. Shit. I can't really leave and come back to this without restarting the whole damn game. This is not a good place to have a bug. Happy Monday, by the way. Mute your desktop audio so you don't get DMCA'd. Drop what you're doing and listen to it. You want to see my reaction to it? And video? Oh, Jesus. I'll have to look at my phone then. Let's see. What is it? Eminem. Something. Eminem. Temporary. Ooh. Baby pictures. Alright. I am listening to Temporary by Eminem and watching the video live. After this ad. I do. Yeah, I have a couple daughters. Hmm. This ain't Haley. I don't let my kids say ain't. I wonder if I can get back. Is that Haley? She got that old? Jesus. He's gonna be a grandpa. Woo! Can't believe it. I mean, it's not a good song. I'm sure it's really cathartic for him, though. Another one that will hit hard is Somebody Save Me. I don't know, songs don't usually get to me that much. Same with movies. There's exceptions to that, but usually I'm like, I get it. Oh, she has called him bitch. No, bitch. That's a good way to end it. Cut you cussing, bitch. All right. Yeah, No, it's. I mean, like I said, it was a bad song. You know, his rapping was kind of annoying. I usually like it, but kind of pretty. Maybe it was just very personal for him, so you know, it wasn't supposed to be that great. Probably depends on the mood. You want to know a good song? Playing right now. The Cannons? Come on. You can't beat Orbem themed music. Oh, did you? 3 a.m.? Yeah. Probably hit you hard in the middle of the night. Ah, bummer. You must have been in the right mood. Yeah, you're not Cry Streak, yeah. Right mood, right time. They'll hit you every time. Oops. All right, let's get back to the boss. Back to the boss, back to the boss, back to the boss, get back to the boss. We can do this. I want to see what the hell happened. Why did he suddenly switch to Purge? I'm guessing there's something about like transitioning to the Orbem Graham's office or whatever that left him with the wrong data points. Because it seemed like the transition just changed the pulse wave. Holy. You almost got caught? What do you mean? By your parents? Let's see if we can fix this. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant like Twitch caught you with your ad blocker or something. Alright, let's see if we can fix this whole swiping thing. I don't really like it. Yeah, because when we use the weapon, that's cool. I thought you were just on YouTube. Spell. Yeah, this is for spells. What about... Yes, just on load. Got it. Free to YouTube. Can you watch streamers on YouTube or just regular videos? So this is where on hit, I recoil. How does that work? Oh. Well, let's see. What uses hurt the enemy? Okay, here it is. Overlap. Yeah. So if it's an enemy item, do that. Yeah, but where do I do the whole... Oh, maybe it's right here. Where I remove engage when it makes contact. No. Is this it? No. That's for triggers. Yeah. Huh. Weapon L, timer. We got that bullshit. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I must find you. Yeah, it's for weapons. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't caught doing that too. Awkward. Okay. What about this? No. That's for new area. Oh yeah, I have to reset it. I remember that. Map weapon. This is me moving the weapon with my body. Maybe it's here. Key down, shift. Oh yeah, this is all my custom logic for attacking. Did I do it here? Highlight point bar, heavy attack. Your heart's still beating. Your Twitch users are from your YouTube. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully they didn't notice. Okay. Yeah, so the problem is, on contact, it removes the classes. When they're overlapping. So I don't think it happens here, because I don't even see the overlap here. It's got to be somewhere else. This is just from moving. This is what? This is on load again. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be here because this is where the overlap happens. You gonna head out? Alright, man. No problem, Deck Dude. I'll see you around. Thanks for joining. Hanging out. So we got this. That's only if I die, though. Where else is it? I know I have something set up for overlapping. think... Yeah, I thought it was projectile. Shoot projectile. Yeah, look, it moves. Moves the thing. And then oh, that's removing it all together. That's different. But I made it so when you hit something, it goes away so that it can't like linger inside of it and keep hitting it. But what I should do is like turn off the ability for it to take life anymore. Because it's not very satisfactory. Oh, no, maybe it is that. It's when I killed it. That's right. I can hit him 1,000,000 times and he won't go away. Okay. That's different. I already saw where that happens. That happens here. Yeah, in here. When it goes to 0. Right here. Yeah. So why do I do that? Where is it? This. I don't think I need to do that. If he dies, I don't care. He gets removed. It might be for the projectiles. I hit. Let's... Can I tell if it's a projectile or not? I think I'll just do this. We'll try just getting rid of this. Alright, let's try it now. So now when I hit it, my weapon shouldn't go away. Bop. There we go. That looks better. Bop. Very nice. And... Woohoo! Very good, very good. Wait, what? Why are you here? That's not supposed to be here. Why the fuck are you here? I have you. Let's double check that's still here. Uh-oh. You're not supposed to be here. Not one bit, eh? Especially because I have... Oh, wait, what? You're not supposed to be here. It appears that... the fucking... persist move is not working. It appears so. We're losing a restaurant. What did I do wrong? Enemy. Enemy. Huh. Adding the enemy to the list. That's strange. Huh. No restaurant. What is the enemy restaurant? Oh, why my nose just started running. Restaurant. Enemy. Oh, here we go. Enemy. Well, he's there. Maybe I should switch it to post. Save enemy. Something happened. Headers. What am I passing? Tatami. Post. Wave engage. Oh, that's not a good name. Was it wave engage? Oh. Are these guys getting extra classes for the wave? Tatami charged. Map item. No. Why'd that other one have a wave in his name? Hold on. Oh. Well, now it's gone. That's weird. No. There you are. Do you have wave in your name? Just post. WP block group. Data waves? Why would you get waves? Hold on, let's try this again. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, look. Tatami post. That's its name. But then it has a space dash wave engage. Okay, what am I doing here? Save enemy. Right here. Position. I am obviously adding something. Oh, am I adding the name of the wave before I send it? Maybe. That should only happen if it's a boss, though. Oh, but I don't even specify that. Idiot. Okay, hold on. Where's the boss flag? I should be able to tell. What is it? I mean, I guess I can just tell if it has any waves. I'm pretty sure boss has a special class or something. Oh no, I think it's like enemy type. Yeah, and this one is block. Yeah, data enemy type. So we can do this. If boss equals value dot data set, no, get attribute data enemy type. All right. Then we'll do that. All right, that should help. Let's try again. All right, here we go. Attack. Attack. Shit. What'd I do? New health is not defined. What? Ew. Well, let's keep you out. This is not what I meant to cover in there. I meant this. Try again. It looks like I'm cutting out a stream early. It's deader than a doornail. Well, I might as well listen to an audiobook, actually. Maybe I'll do a chapter. Bop. There she goes. There she blows. And now he should be gone. Bop. And bop. Very nice. We can collect you again. Wait, what? False. Yeah, I still don't know why you didn't go away. You have nothing to do with the enemy. But you are here, which is weird. Huh. I do not know why you're already here. Yeah, whatever. We'll fix that another time. Let's continue our audiobook.
Now, we should have no issue staying in contact during our mission, Orland said with a bit of hesitation. Before everyone returned from their preparations to leave the village, I stopped by Bargo's place to see if he could remove the remaining piece of desk from my hand so I could once again use my sword. He turned me down. Apparently, he'd watched John build my arm when I was in a coma and knew how protective he was of the piece. Luckily, John stopped by not too long after and was able to grind away the pieces of desk enough to allow my hand to retract and be replaced with the iron sword. Kind of have a stainless steel bracelet now, John commented, pointing at the remaining steel ring surrounding my wrist where the tabletop had been. John and I then stopped by Jarok's office to get a general idea of Corinder's whereabouts. The concerned grandpa was happy to hear we planned on taking the task of retrieving him. It was an important mission for the old Canath leader, and he conveyed just how much Corinder's safe return meant to him and the village through terrifying body language and intense stares. "We'll find him, Jarok," I said to the massive Canath at his desk. He nodded and smiled in return. After John and I rejoined the group, I handed one of the communicators to Jeannie, as I was sure John would end up smashing it during battle or something. In addition to the new way of contacting each other, I intended to transport to John every now and then using his mech's universal tracking signal, which I was locked onto, to check on them and supply support through retrieval points. We all left through the front gate and headed north. Jarok had said the last scent position was near a point between Wonderland and the east gate to the Nocturne Forest. Iana decided it was better for us to split up as we got closer to the location. The fact that one of the directions put us so close to the evil forest was problematic for everyone. At some point, I would have to figure out our distraction plan, as I'd promised the Orbem Harmonians. At that point, it was a dying wish from Doran himself. I just wished I knew what he'd been talking about when he'd mentioned the forest and source before succumbing to the retraction syringe. For the time being, it was safer to avoid Nocturne Forest as much as possible. We were all set to go, so I transported the whole group to the point of divergence. "All right, if you all start heading in that direction, it should lead you near the City of Glory," I instructed. "Gah, Graham! Pretty sure Corlin knows the way," Jeannie snarked. "Oh, yeah. Anyway, we'll head this way toward the Nocturne Forest," I said, which elicited more than a few looks of concern. "By the way, if anything goes down with Valdag, or we absolutely need some elven royalty for some reason, I'm going to transport and grab Corland," I informed John, and he nodded. We went our separate ways and began the search for Corinder. We knew Corinder was looking for revenge against the goblins, but we also had no way of finding the goblins. The angry Canath was probably able to hunt them using his powerful senses of hearing and smell. Portland had let us know early on that he had no idea how to create a tracking spell, much less one that was specific to the goblin species. Apparently, the tracker arrows that rangers used were similar to the communication orbs. The spell was generated with the arrows and bows that would shoot them at the same time, creating a connection. The rangers used their bows to track the arrows directly. Our best bet was to walk slowly and look to the trees for any sign of unnatural movement. "What's that?" Iana asked, pointing to a nearby tree branch that was jostled. We paused our trek for a moment and listened intensely for any disturbance, but were met with silence. "Probably just the wind, or some sort of nynx," I surmised. "There are several large mammalian tree dwellers in this forest. Finding a lone Canath who does not wish to be found will be most challenging," Siona commented, and I was starting to think she was right. We were going to need a way to flush out Corinder if there was any chance of us finding him before we ran into trouble. An idea struck me. If we get caught by some goblins, Corinder is bound to be close by. We should probably just act casual and unsuspecting, I said as Siona and Iana looked at me with furrowed brows. Do you really believe making ourselves defenseless near the nocturne forest to be wise? Siona asked in a concerned tone. I mean, if our conversation and walking doesn't catch Corinder's ears, then getting surrounded by some goblins should. Win-win, really, I answered with a smile, which elicited a headshake from Siona. Maybe you're right, Iana said timidly. Hey, Siona, do you mind if I ask you something? I walked closer to Siona. Of course. What is on your mind? Siona answered, side-eyeing me. It's just, after my time in the north, I've become more confused about the Hammonians' and elves' power structures over time, I began. Do you know anything about life on Orbem before the influence of Hammonian technology? Were the elves in power back then too? All these questions had been bombarding my mind since I'd been in Lorith. Siona smiled brightly at my questions, but quickly composed herself before answering. I must say, your line of questioning is quite intelligent. One thing the elves were fond of maintaining were educational texts that predated the Hammonian colonization, so you are in luck. At that point, Iana moved closer to our positions at the sound of an interesting lecture. As you all know, there were 3 pristine species in Orbem's origins, Siona began. Elves, Meridians, and fairies? Iana chimed in. Very good, Iana. During this time of evolution, there was little order in the world. The 3 pristine species took control of their own domains. Meridians in the sea, fairies in the highlands, the elves took to the forests, Siona continued. What about the drylands and northern mountains? I asked, furrowing my brow. Yes, those regions were considered wild lands, where the various species lived free of control. At least for a long time, that is, Siona said, then cleared her throat. Now, one of the 3 pristines had something the others did not. Magic, I ventured. Right you are. The elves grew in numbers, created a kingdom, and began to expand their control of the other regions beyond the forests. Our teacher paused when she noticed my hand up. Yes, Graham. Wait, so the elves' kingdom began in the south? Why is it so rural then? I asked. Actually, Graham, the north was once an expansive forest region. The City of Glory was only founded in 600 AH, Siona corrected me. AH? I asked. After Hammonians, roughly 3,000 years ago, Siona answered, and continued her lecture before I could respond. Now where was I? Oh, right. The elves began occupying many of the regions of Orbem without much of a fight from the natives. Everyone either feared the magic of the elves or saw them as saviors, depending on the local circumstances. Okay, so elves took over, with mixed responses from the natives. Then what? The Hammonians showed up and pushed the elves aside? I asked a bit impatiently. Unfortunately, the arrival of the Hammonians is not documented well, Siona said with a tinge of sadness in her voice. Perhaps Folanir or even your new Hammonian friends in the northern mountains would have the answers you seek. Siona looked toward me and added, And when you do, please take me with you. Of course, I said with a grin. An hour passed, and we ran out of conversation. No Corinder, and even more surprising was the lack of goblins, or even a lone elf ranger. Based on my knowledge of their source, I assumed they were popping out of the ground near Coromir's forest. That idea was beginning to lose merit, as there wasn't a single interaction. Where are these stupid goblins? If they're not here, then... I began to think, but my eyes went wide in realization. What is it? Iana asked as she noticed my expression. Siona quickly gave me her attention as well. You said the goblins were attacking Canith not too long ago, right? I asked Iana. That's right. There were several occasions before the attack on the Colfoot, Iana answered in a somber tone. She looked at me with squinted eyes. You don't think they've changed targets, do you? I pulled out the speaker disc and called out to John. John, come in. Hey, John! Are you there, buddy? There was no response for a long while. I looked to Iana with a darting gaze. Oh, shit. Hold on. Damn thing is slippery. The annoyed voice of John suddenly emanated from the glowing red disc in my hand. Hello? Is that you, Founder? Oh, man. You really scared me there for a second. Is everything all right near the City of Glory? I asked with relief. Still no sign of Corinder, but we did pass a couple elf squads combing the forest. I looked afraid, John answered. But then I heard Jeannie saying something. The fuck are we supposed to do to find Cory, lad? The place is crawling with elves, Jeannie complained, and I looked at Iana for a second. Listen, it's a ghost town over here. I think the goblins are headed your way to start attacking the elves like they did the Canonth, I informed the others. It's like they're testing the enemy's strength, just like when we all fought nocturne creatures in Coromir's forest before. If Corinder is anywhere, it's going to be where the goblins are. Rustling noises sounded from the speaker disc, as if it were being handled roughly. Jeannie, Quorland, behind me, John yelled. John? John, what is it? I asked, receiving no answer. Get close, I said to the other two, and transported us to John's position. Veldag, Iana. The second we arrived at John's position, I noticed Wonderland in view. Suddenly, a chipped and rusted sword swung at my head, narrowly missing its mark as I leaned back farther than I would have thought myself capable. Goblins! I heard Siona cry out, her voice distorted and low. She blocked a mighty strike from a heavy wooden club with her right arm and countered by shattering the weapon with her clawed left hand. It was the first time I had witnessed Siona's dragon strength in a combat setting. Her power was truly impressive and terrifying. My heart warmed when I saw John cut into one goblin with his arm saws, and Jeannie embed 3 throwing knives into the body of another. John! Jeannie! Are you two all right? I called out to them. Fine, lass! Graham! Knives! Jeannie called to Graham, who immediately materialized a new set of throwing knives and threw the pack to Jeannie before parrying a goblin blade with his own mechanical arms iron blade. 2 goblins approached me with sword and spear in their hands. Without warning, I turned up my speed and ran behind them. Before they could notice my position, I swiped each grotesque creature in their slimy necks, rendering them limp. They fell to the ground. Portland was about to be skewered by a goblin spear as he lifted his hand up and attempted to say something. His hand was shaking and his lips were trembling as he froze in fear. Just when I was about to come to his aid, Graham showed up behind the approaching goblin and pointed his own hand at it. With the crack of his transport, the spear-holding goblin disappeared. It took a moment for me to realize I could see a tuft of greasy black hair sticking out of the ground where the goblin had been standing. Buried alive, Macro. You remembered, John said in a sweet tone to Graham, who smiled in response. You saved my life, Graham. Thank you, Portland remarked. With the last goblin dispatched, it became eerily silent. A feeling of great anxiety rose in my stomach. As if they had materialized out of thin air, we were suddenly surrounded by elven rangers, bows knocked and arrows all pointing in our direction at the center of their entrapment. I ran to Graham's side. He was visibly shaking, with a clenched jaw and gritted teeth, like a wild dog backed into a corner. Take a deep breath, I said to Graham, taking his hands in an attempt to keep him from losing his senses. We had been caught off guard, and were in no position to fight without suffering casualties. Graham complied and began taking a slow breath in, then let it all out. There we go, I said, and he looked to me and smiled warmly. I returned it. In that moment, time slowed down. Our hands clasped more tightly as I became lost in Graham's bright green eyes. I noticed how his hands weren't soft or necessarily rough. There were contradictory feelings of comfort, terror, and frustration running through me. It was exhilarating. I'm sorry, you two, but we are in danger, correct? Siona suggested tentatively. With wide eyes, I quickly let go of Graham's hands, suddenly feeling hotter.
Great timing, guys,
John called out to the elves.
Your Grace, come with us at once,
a soldier said to Quarland, and 3 others ushered the Duke outside the circle, toward Wonderland.
Wait, hold on,
I heard the Duke try to protest. A figure walked forward slowly, until we could finally see him push past some elven rangers. Valdag? I said, my eyebrows furrowed.
Wait, that's Valdag?
Graham asked, his head cocked a bit to the right.
Yes, a pleasure to finally meet you, Graham. I do apologize for not assisting your rescue from the north,
Valdag said with little emotion. Graham had said something similar when we'd first brought Valdag's name up, and I began to wonder what sort of connection the two had.
Well, lucky for me, my friends are much smarter than you thought. I don't know what you're trying to pull with all these stunts and lies, but you'd better start explaining what's going on,
Graham said with venom in his voice as he raised his extended iron blade to the mage. Valdag clutched his chest as if he were genuinely hurt by Graham's animosity.
Please, do not hold any grudge against me. These are dangerous times, with packs of violent goblins roaming these forests. We simply wish to keep you and your people safe,
Valdag explained with genuine concern in his voice. Graham's glare at the black and white-haired mage did not waver, nor did he retract his sword.
Cut the crap, Valdag.
We can keep ourselves safe, as you can see. Graham gestured to the fallen goblins. Valdag's lips pressed together in a bitter smile.
We're looking for our friend Corinder. You're in our way. Call off your soldiers,
Graham demanded. Ah, yes. The young Greytuft. I'm afraid we were too late, and he was besieged by a large group of the goblin menace, Valdag explained, slumping his shoulders and gazing downward. No, I said without thinking.
You saw the goblins attack Corinder?
John asked bluntly, skepticism in his tone. Not me personally, of course. It was reported by one of our officers here, Valdag replied, and gestured to one of the rangers. He had regained his monotone and calm demeanor. Foolish Kenneth, running around looking for a fight on his own, Siona commented as she began to tear up.
I don't believe for a second that Corinder was killed. If I find out you had anything to do with his disappearance,
Graham began to say, but then suddenly transported within inches of Valdag and finished.
Then I'll deal with you personally.
Even though the surrounding soldiers jumped back, ready to strike, Valdag didn't flinch. Part of me felt the air thicken when I noticed Graham's sword was pushed up against Valdag's side in a perfect position to puncture his lung. The old mage smiled softly at Graham's threat and nodded in recognition. I wouldn't dream of deceiving such a dangerous person, Valdag said softly, and then vanished in a flurry of flames that caused Graham to fall backward onto his bottom. The elves all dropped their bows and marched back toward Wonderland. Well, it seems this was all just a misunderstanding, Siona said with a smile. Then when she realized no one was returning her feelings, her smile fell flat. A rustling in the trees to our right caused us to all jump into defensive and offensive stances. When the mystery person emerged from behind a tree trunk, we were all pleasantly surprised. Portland, I thought they took you back to Wonderland, Graham said cheerfully.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I was able to slip past the guards before getting too far. I don't know how long I have before they come looking for me, but it didn't feel right leaving you all after what had happened.
Orland said with a lowered gaze. What's wrong? I asked. Orland hesitated, but then forced himself to say, I must return to Wonderland not too long from now. My uncle will be coming very soon. Your uncle? Larenthal? Siona asked, surprised, but Corland was too stunned to answer. While I hated the fact that Corinder would still be wherever he was for another night, we had no new leads beyond theories of Valdag's involvement. We all decided it was safest to leave the area before getting caught in another attack. Graham transported us back to Corinder's home, where we could all go our separate ways for the remainder of the night. I think I'll find a spot to sleep myself. I'm still not used to so much action in one day, Orland said, and retired to Corinder's home. The news of the king's arrival had the Duke shaken. It was no wonder he preferred being in Cannant Village than alone in anticipation. If he could get any reprieve through sleep, I wished him the best. I'm knackered. See you both in the morning. Love ya. Jeannie said and waved as she turned to leave. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's sleep on it and plan our next steps, eh? John said, and we let the young-looking old couple get their rest. Suddenly, it was just Graham and me. There's no way I'll be able to sleep right now, Graham remarked. He ran his hands through his hair, then clasped his fingers behind his head. I know. Sleep has been strange for me since Valdag's invasion, I said without thinking. Graham looked at me with rapidly blinking eyes. It's getting pretty cold. Did you want to head over to my place to talk? Yeah, all right. Barracks aren't much warmer than out here, Graham agreed. We went to my small bungalow. Luckily, there was a quaint fire out here, Graham agreed. We went to my small bungalow. Barracks aren't much warmer than out here. I want to head over to my place to talk. Yeah, all right. Barracks aren't much warmer than out here. Graham, barracks aren't much warmer. Want to? Yeah. All right. Barracks aren't much warmer than out here, Graham agreed. We went to my small bungalow. Luckily, there was a quaint fireplace built into the wall that did a decent job of warming the space. There wasn't much space to warm, so it worked quickly. After Graham almost lit my entire room on fire by insisting on using magic, I sat on the edge of my bed, and he began digging into the workspace I had set up to optimize my serum development and other syringe-related research. It was then, looking at the back of his head, that I realized it was the first time Graham and I had ever been truly alone together. Not alone in a public space or off to the side of our group, but completely void of supervision. A surge of guilt rushed through me, as if we were doing something inappropriate that I needed to apologize for. I still find it so fascinating that these devices were all developed by Harmonians and brought to Earth. Graham was fiddling with my syringe device. Not just any Harmonians. Alistair and Crovalim must have brought the technology with them from Miropelia. Then Crovalim kills his cousin. Tragic, really. I know I didn't know Alistair long, but I miss him, Graham said, looking down. Then he quickly looked back up to me. What doesn't really make sense is that they couldn't already use the technology they'd brought. Like, why Thyrus?
Why bring in scientists at all if you could just take over the world from the start? He began gazing off into the distance, lost in thought. Maybe they didn't know how to use it properly, I remarked, pulling Graham out of his own mind. Maybe. I suppose it could be possible that they never really learned how the technology they utilized was built. It's not like I know exactly how your syringe functions, but I used it fine. Graham looked to me. You're really smart, you know that? His statement caused my feelings of guilt and inappropriateness to return. Graham just kept gazing at me with a silly grin as my cheeks began to glow. The negative feeling slowly dissipated, and I realized that I was simply happy in that moment. Hey, Iana? Graham took a seat at the foot of my bed and turned toward me. What is it? I asked, and realized my cheeks were beginning to hurt as I smiled at nothing. You think if, all of this, Graham pointed around the room, never happened, that maybe you and I... Yes? I asked, egging him on to continue as we leaned closer to each other. Suddenly, a loud rapping at my front door caused us both to jump in surprise. Hey, Lars? Mind if we come in? Jeannie asked timidly, though she didn't wait for permission and began slowly opening the door. Soon, John's and Jeannie's heads were peeking into my home, both with wide-eyed expressions. The king arrives. Found her? John asked in a horrified tone and looked to Jeannie, whose eyes shot open even wider than I had ever seen them before. Hey, John, Graham said in a squeak. The two stunned visitors were frozen. There was a long silence during which I shot arrows from my eyes at Jeannie and John as they looked at Graham and me with open mouths. Okay, I think I'm gonna head back to the barracks. I've got some tinkering to do on my blade. Thanks for having me over, Iana. Graham finally said in a disappointed tone. He gave me a quick wave and then transported away. Jeannie and John dropped their chins to their chests and avoided my gaze. Jeannie slowly turned and began to head toward the exit, as if meaning to escape, but I stood up quickly. What is going on, you two? I asked, my arms crossed. John winced and then built up the courage to speak. Well, you see, Jeannie was just out for a walk. Said she heard a man's voice in your home, so she ran back and got me. John began without looking at me. I did hear a man's voice, Jeannie commented in a whining tone. I know, love. Yeah, so we thought it might have been, the elf. John finally let the misunderstanding be known. My glare narrowed in their direction. Quirland? You thought Quirland was here? That was your first guess. And so what if he was here? I began to lose my temper at their implied accusation. Jeannie tried to legitimize their intrusion. It's just, we're worried about you, lass. That shite Duke ain't worth your time. Well, great job. This was the first time I was finally enjoying myself since coming to Orbem, and you two fucked it up, I said with a tinge of sadness and uncharacteristic harsh language. Jeannie came over and held me. As much as I wanted to throw her off me in anger, I knew I couldn't stay mad at her or John for long. I just sat there with my face in my hands. Sorry, kiddo. Just a couple of overprotective fools, eh? John said with a dry chuckle. So, enjoying yourself? Jeannie asked suggestively. Get out! Both of you! I said sternly, pointing to my front door. Jeannie let me go and stood up. Aw, come on now, lass. Give us the details, Jeannie said with a cheeky grin. No, thank you. I'm going to sleep, I said, and crossed my arms as I avoided their looks. The two left, and I was finally able to take a deep breath and reflect on all that had taken place.
It would be easy to fall asleep after so much chaos, so I lay down, staring at the wood-planked ceiling. My thoughts became less lucid by the second, and my eyes closed until I fell asleep. The next morning, the sunlight through my window woke me. It was a strange sensation to be woken by sunlight in Canonth Village. Most of our time in Orbem must have been in the fall and winter seasons, as dark or cloudy, cold mornings were all I knew. There was a commotion happening outside my door. It was possible the light wasn't the source of my awakening at all, but instead the noise from the various excited voices. Suddenly, the name Corinder popped into my ears, and my eyes lit up, and my body filled with energy, allowing me to rush my morning routine and fly out the door. The light was blinding, and it took my eyes a moment to adjust, but soon I was able to see a crowd near Kalia's food cart. There were so many Canonth in the group that I couldn't tell what or who was at the middle of the pack. Nerves kicked in as my thoughts went to the grim scenario of perhaps another goblin attack victim, but I was sure I'd heard Corinder's name. The indistinguishable chatter left me unable to discern its mood as I approached.
What's going on?
John caught up to me and asked. I don't know, I said with concern. We soon reached the edge of the buzzing pack of Canonth.
Excuse me,
John said, as he pushed a couple of brown-furred Canonth out of our way without regard. Then I saw him. Corinder! I called out, and pushed my way through the crowd and jumped on the unsuspecting grey tuft.
Ah, Messiana, good to see you too. That John back there?
A chipper Corinder asked.
Where in the Harmonian's Orbem have you been, young pup?
Kalia scolded the popular Canonth and grabbed hold of his ear, pulling him away from the crowd.
You're gonna tear it, Mum!
Corinder complained as Kalia dragged him all the way to their home. John and I let the group know it was safer if they left the mother and son alone for now, and we followed close behind the two. With surprising skill, Kalia managed to pull Corinder into the living room and shove him onto the couch with just a tight grip on his furry ear. She stood in front of Corinder with her hands on her hips and a furrowed brow. Her golden eyes looked red with fury as she gazed upon her delinquent son.
Mom,
Corinder tried to speak, but Kalia interrupted.
Not a word! Not a word to your mother that you plan to leave the village during the most dangerous time in a century. Alone at that! You want to end up like Vorsish. You want me to end up like his mother, still crying every day that her pup is gone before her?
Kalia raged through tears as John and I looked away. There was no denying that I agreed with Kalia to an extent. Corinder wasn't alone anymore. He had us. I couldn't pretend to know what was in his head when he felt the need to go out on his own that day, but I wouldn't think it rational.
I'm sorry, Mum,
Corinder said with slumped shoulders, looking to the ground. Before anyone could say another word, Kalia collapsed on top of Corinder, wrapping her furry arms around his neck as she sobbed.
Don't go leaving me alone like your father now, Corey. My heart couldn't take it. You know that,
Kalia said through tears. This made Corinder begin to cry, which left John and me with no choice but to join in with watery eyes of our own. It took a long enough time for the two Canonth to calm down that Jeannie and Graham both showed up with Siona in tow. The noise also alerted Quarlin to the situation, and soon the living room was packed with our entire group.
It's great to see you, Graham. Sorry if I gave you a scare, but I must say, I was pretty worried about you myself,
Corinder said, and gave Graham a big hug.
Got me there. So you gotta tell us where you went. The elves told us they saw you get attacked by goblins,
Graham explained. Kalia's brow furrowed, and her hands returned to her hips. We had never told Kalia about Valdag's claims. It would have been foolish to break her heart without proper evidence.
Oh, Mum, you mind letting Jarok know I'm back?
and getting me some hentai. I'm starved.
Corinder asked his mother in a childlike tone that melted her like butter.
All right, Corey.
catch up with your friends. But we are not done, young pup, Kalia said with venom at the end. She stood up and left for Pax's home. You wouldn't believe what I just went through, friends, Corinder began to say. We all took the chance to assume comfortable positions around the room to enjoy the story. Corinder stood up before continuing. So, I was ready to find some bloody goblins to tear apart. I ran to the north, toward the Nocturne Forest, using the trees. It wasn't long before I found a group of 2 goblins digging in some bush. Couldn't help myself. Attacked them from the treetops without a warning.
Oh man, you're a beast,
John commented, and slapped Corinder on the back with friendly force. Was horrible, really, Corinder said with a downward gaze. I regret being so angry. Volsish wasn't one for violence. Wouldn't have wanted me to act out that way, really. But there was something strange in that bush they were fiddling with. Strange how? Siona asked. Found a bit of wood. Big round piece made up from a stump or something. Like a giant trouser button, the canon said, and indicated the shape with his arms.
Why was it there?
John asked with an arched brow. I was curious myself. Went to pick up the thing, but I couldn't move it. Like it was attached to the ground. I saw some metal hinges on one side. Figured it was some door, Corinder explained, as he mimed trying to lift the door. Only thing was, I could smell them horrible things past it. Found myself a branch and forced the door open. That's when the stench really hit me, and I couldn't help but jump in. So brave, Siona exclaimed, clutching her chest, her eyes wide. Corinder looked at her with a smile and scratched the back of his head. Wasn't exactly thinking clearly. When I remember that hole, it gives me the willies. Corinder paused and looked off at no one in particular. That must have been one of the forgotten entrances to the goblin territory, Siona surmised. I have not seen any records of them existing in this region. Corinder corrected Siona's assumption. No, I don't think it was anything that old. The door's wood couldn't have been more than a month from harvesting. That made an eerie situation into a terrifying one. I wonder how many doors are out there. That explains the recent appearances, I said, and looked to Grain, who was staring down at his hands. The tunnel went on for ages. Never did reach anything, but I did get lost. Must have been 2 or 3 days before I found my way out. Ran into a few goblins. You should have seen the way they moved in those tunnels. Faster than Miss Iona on foot they were, Corinder said, and gave a nervous laugh. It is happening again, Siona said to herself.
What's that, Siona?
John asked. The consistently growing goblin attacks. Elves conspiring, all with Coromir at the center. This all led to the largest war this world had ever seen, Siona explained with a vacant look as she stared off into space.
The Orbem War,
Corlin said, and we all looked at each other. That's exactly what Doran said. That Coromir was giving revenge another shot, only he's learned from the past. He's already hit the Harmonians where it hurts. That only leaves, Graeme started to say, but trailed off.
The king is to arrive any day,
Corlin said in a panicked tone.
I must leave at once.
With that statement, Corlin ran out of Corinder's home before any of us could stop him. There was no denying that without the Harmonian and Elven leaders keeping order, the 2 powerful species would have a much harder time coordinating their kind against Coromir. We must go after Corland. There's no reason to run to Wonderland on foot, I noted, and ran out of Corinder's as well.
Hey, Deck Dude. You join on YouTube? Yeah, I was just listening to more of the audiobook. Oh man, I'm almost done. 2 1/4 chapters left. It's good. Yeah, I was probably just gonna finish this chapter and then head out. How you doing? Exactly. Dak dude's back. Tell yo friends. Yeah, I got the bug fixed on the Tatami posts. For some reason, this is still showing up. Can't exactly tell if it's because of it didn't just collect correctly in the first place, but it's weird because it is showing up here, and if it shows up there, it shouldn't show up anywhere else. That's what I was wondering. Where are weapons? Yeah, this is part of the storage items. But yeah. But weapons are items too. Nice. Body! Wait, which one is it? That's balloons. What was the confetti one? No. What was confetti? 2? Oh, there we go. Woo! Yeah. I left it on. I like it kept me company. Well, yeah. I think I'll actually call it a night. Thanks for jumping back on. Sorry. But yeah, I'll be streaming tomorrow. I think I'm back in the swing of things. I'll be able to probably finish up the books. Yeah, I hope you don't get caught so you can keep joining. But yeah, keep me posted. Hit me up in Discord. Let me know what's going on. And I will catch you in the next one, hopefully. Have a great night. Good luck in school tomorrow, homeschool, and I will talk to you in a bit. See you later. Bye-bye.